let's talk about how I survived being laid off twice. All right, guys, so in this video, it's kind of like a story time, but also like tips and advice. So I'm going to be talking about how I was laid off twice, two different times from two different organizations, but then like years apart, but just the things that like happened surrounding that. And then at the end of this, I'm going to share some tips for things that I think was helpful in helping me find my next position. So my first time being laid off, I was laid off September 13. I remember it, September 13, 2019, because it was Friday the 13th. That's how I remember. I had seen on my manager's calendar that there was a meeting with me on that day. Now, mind you, this is like my first time really being in corporate, because before then I was a teacher for 10 years. So I didn't know what I know now, but looking at that, I should have been like preparing myself. But I don't think she knew that I was like looking at her calendar like that. But I asked her, I was like, hey, because she hadn't sent the notification to me yet, the calendar invite. And I asked her and I was like, what is this? And so she was like, yeah, we do have a meeting on Friday. And just me being a newbie and just being a corporate girly, had no idea. So yeah, it was, of course, she knew. And when I got on the call, it was her in HR. And immediately, I think it took me like a few seconds to process what was happening. I think that she didn't really have control over it. I don't know, because it was a very small company. I'm talking about maybe 25, 30 people. It was fully remote. There was no physical location for the organization. And yeah, and I had only been there for maybe 6 months. And so I was like, I had finally escaped teaching because I hated being a teacher. And so I was like devastated, right? So of course I was like, I took it personal. I was devastated because I didn't think I was going to recover from this. And I was like, I had a severance. I believe they gave me a month severance, and they gave me my final paycheck and then like a month severance. Because remember, I was only there for 6 months. Devastated. So this is the crazy thing looking back at it. So at the time I'm living in North Carolina and I'm interviewing like crazy, but I'm not getting anything, like nothing is happening. A lot of my positions though, from my particular job set, was in the DMV area. And at the time, my best friend was living in the DC area. She was trying to get me here like forever. So I started applying more and focusing more on the DMV area, and I ended up getting the job and moving to the DMV area. And so I was laid off September 13th, and then by October 21st, I was starting a new job in the DMV area. It was such a crazy time just thinking about it now. It all sounds like very chaotic. But I knew it was God just covering me, as he's always done with everything in my life. But yeah, over a month and I was fully moved, packed up my apartment. I moved in with my best friend and stayed with her for like 3 months until I could get back on my feet and just find something. So yeah, that was the first time and I recovered. So fast forward a few years later, this is, I started working for Amazon when did I start working for Amazon? Yeah, so I started working for Amazon in July of 2022. By April of 2023, remember, big tech takes a hit and starts laying people off. And I woke up that morning, I can remember it so clearly, because my boss was in Seattle. So I was always up before him and working before him. And so I tried to log into my system. It was giving me issues. And then I finally got in, but it looked weird and things weren't working properly for me. And so I checked my emails. I was able to check that. Oh, and I checked my my Gmail as well, because it came there. And I think I checked my Gmail first. I think that's where I first saw it, and then I tried to log in. Long email, you know, the same little story that they like to do, restructuring, blah blah blah. So I'm like, did I just get laid off? And I just started laughing, because what do you mean I'm getting laid off? It's me. Not again, right? Yes, again, it was me. So I'm like, and mind you, this time my manager, nobody knew on the team. So like on this particular team that I was working on, it was like 21 of us. And I think maybe half of us lost our jobs that day, even the director of our whole team. She had just got hired as well. She's maybe been there for 2 years, if that. So she was let go. Like, I don't know how they determined, you know, to let people go, but half the team was gone. And my manager, when he finally, you know, got up on his time, he reached out to me. He was like, were you impacted by the layoffs? He didn't even know. And I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, wow. And, you know, he said this little, you know, this stuff that he has to say. And then he told me that, you know, these other few people may have been laid off too, but he really didn't know. I don't know. I think they had an idea that something may have been happening, because I had survived 2 rounds of layoffs at Amazon up until then. And I got caught in the 3rd wave of layoffs. So yeah, then like my team, people started reaching out to each other, because we could still have access to email. You know, I ended up meeting with someone, I forgot the person that was above my director. I met with her and then someone from HR via like Teams or something, and it was a video call, and they basically just was telling me what the email had already told me, but I guess they wanted to do it face to face as well, which they didn't have to do that. But yeah, half the team was gutted, and then they gave us a very good severance package, and they allow us to keep our benefits for like 2 months, because it was like a 60-day notice basically, right? So you got, you know, you kept getting paid basically for those next 60 days. You had your benefits, and then you had your severance package. So it was much better than the first time, I'll say that, which gave me a little bit more of a cushion. But yeah, so I was laid off in April, applying, and then I got to my current position in July of 2023, and I started working there. So April, May, June, July. So it took me three months this time to find a new position. And yeah, I've been there ever since. So I wanted to make this video for 2 reasons. One, to with everything that's going on, especially here in the DC area where federal workers are getting laid off, even people like in all industries are being impacted by layoffs. I wanted to remind people, because I know how it feels. It is the worst, one of the worst feelings of just like, why me? And people tend to take it personal, because in a way it is kind of personal, but these companies don't care about people like that. They care about money, and you just have to go in with that mindset and just, you know, just hang in there. So that's the reason I wanted to make this video. But now I'm going to go into some helpful tips to help if you've been laid off and you're watching this, and just give you some tips on how to navigate all of that and what's going on. So first, I want to say, if you are currently employed, be saving. Save something, just something, because you never know when you might wake up and you see that email. So just have some type of nest egg to hold you over. If you are able to get a second source of income, which you shouldn't have to, because we are all tired. I know I'm tired. But have a second income if you are able to do that. Also, now is the time, if you are employed, always be upskilling yourself. So you are always building up your resume, portfolio, learning new skills to just make yourself and keep yourself as marketable as possible. because we know right now this job industry is just, the job hiring is just it's a lot going on. It's been taking people, from what I've been seeing, more than 6 months to actually find a new position. So yeah, just make sure that if you are employed right now, that you are keeping yourself marketable. Consider yourself a lifelong learner, even though I know that is annoying because we just get tired, but we always have to keep up. And we see a lot of the, the boomers and the older people who just, they are struggling in keeping up with like current things that are happening. You don't want to be one of those people. So always be aware of the new things that is happening around you. For example, one of the big things right now is AI and everything, right? Just read a few articles, see what's going out there, be aware, play with some things in terms of technology, test things out, watch a few YouTube tutorials on some things just to keep yourself up to date on what is current trends in your applicable industry. My next tip is just to engage in casual networking. Again, this is for people that are currently employed. If you are laid off or looking for jobs, of course, you're going to be heavily networking. But I, as an introvert, I hate networking with a passion. Like I hate small talk. I want to know why you're here. What is it that you want from me? I hate small talk. But you have to, reach out to people. If you see somebody post something on LinkedIn, just, if you're in different networking groups or whatever, just be I call it casual networking. So people are kind of constantly aware of your presence. It's kind of like building a brand. They are aware of your presence in the industry, especially in your city. So if something does happen, you'd be like, hey, you can make this post and people be like, you don't come from nowhere, right? Because these people, they know you, quote unquote, know you, but they be like, hey, they have a position here. You just never know, right? Because I know that my name has been spoken in places, and because somebody told them about the work that I had done for them, or they just have a relationship with me, or they have done some, just some type of connection where it may just get me just in the door, right? So always be like casually networking. Next, just a reminder, the job market is brutal. So one, don't take rejection personally. Like my first time getting laid off, I had like a running in my notes application of the amount of time that I've been rejected before I actually got to my position. And it was over 18 times that I can remember off the top of my head. But because sometimes you have these, these systems that are reading the resumes and they automatically just reject you. So don't take rejection personally. When you are applying for a job, don't let it consume you and affect your mental health. So maybe you set a certain time period. Treat it just like a regular job. So from 9 to 5, I'm going to engage in applying for jobs, working on my portfolio, networking, whatever, but exclusively from 9 to 5, that's when I'm going to do this. Outside of that, I'm going to be a regular person. I'm going to watch my shows. I'm going to get outside and take a walk, exercise, and just keep your mental sanity together, because these things can really affect you. And I don't want that for y'all. So just, treat it as a 9 to 5 or 9 to 3 or, 10 to 4, whatever. Just don't let it consume your life the entire day. My next tip is in terms of like preparing yourself for documents, or preparing your documents, or preparing for the interview. Utilize AI. Like don't let it completely but use it as an assistant to help you write those cover letters, help you tell you what you should include in your resume if you were trying to get this type of job. Like utilize those things, help it pretend to interview you. There are so many things that you can do with AI to help you prepare and make your job searching just a little bit easier, and it's faster for you to just switch up a few things in those cover letters or resumes as you are applying to these specific jobs. So yeah, girl, utilize AI. And the last thing that I would recommend is just make sure you are taking care of yourself physically, mentally, you are utilizing your community. I know the first time that I got laid off, my tribe showed up for me literally at my door. So utilize those people, and that if you have a community to lean on, if you're able to still have your health insurance where you're able to get like a real licensed therapist. I was so thankful for my therapist during my time after I got laid off from Amazon, because she really helped me. So if you're able to still, you know, keep your insurance, please find a good therapist and lean on your community. Now is not the time to shut down and just close the world off. I know that's, you know, you tend to want to do that, but no, this is the time. This is why community is there, that is there to lift you up and in times like this. So yeah, just take care of your overall well-being, because again, it could feel, it's a terrible thing to be laid off and be without employment, especially when eggs is $85 million a carton. So it's a terrible feeling, and it can really consume you mentally. So don't let it. Keep your mind. All right, so that is basically it. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have suggestions for people who may be, you know, going through a layoff right now, they're just looking, you know, for a new job, let them know in the comments below. If you have questions directly for me about anything that I just mentioned, of course, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that is it for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.